So now I want to actually give you a idea of how PHP form validation can work in our instance, and I'm going to show you how to validate it so that we can make sure that our forms are secure and that hackers and spammers can't use it. So I'm just going to show you a screenshot of a basic form. Right there is a basic form, and that's basically what we're going to create. So the first thing that we're going to concentrate on is the required fields, which is quite important. You can go and set required fields, and this is also required fields in your code, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm just going to use the simple form body tag as well. Now, the validation rules for the form that I showed you, there's a couple, right? And let me get my snipping tool out, show you that. Okay, there's an example of it. Okay, so we can do name, email, website, comment, and gender. So the required plus must only contain letters and white spaces. The quiet plus must contain valid emails. The website, if press, it's always optional. If present, must contain valid URL. Optional multi-line for text area, and then gender you must either and or select one. Okay, so let me show you an example. First, we look at the plain HTML. So I'm going to go and create a plain HTML that we are going to create in our form. So the text fields, the name, email, and website fields in the text input elements, and comment fields in the text HTML code would look something like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. I'm going to leave my that form bit for now like that, and I'm going to add a new bunch of input code. So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying name, input text name, email, website, and then I said text area. Then the next thing I'm going to do for creating the gender is I'm going to put in the gender inputs. So I'm just going to paste I'm going to paste the following. Okay, so now I'm saying input and it's a radio button, name is gender, value female, and value male. Okay, so the next form element is doing the form post mechanism, and this is actually where we're going to, create a more secure way of doing the post. So you're just going to get rid of this form. I'm going to replace it with this form. Now you would see that this form has a method of post, and it's got an action, HTML special characters, server PHP self. Gonna hit save on that one. And when the form is submitted, the form data is sent with a method posts, as you can see. Now, what is a server PHP self variable? Now, the server PHP self is a super global variable that returns the file name of the currently existing script. So the $server PHP self sends the submitted form data to the page itself instead of jumping to a different page. This way, the user will get an error message on the same page as the form. Now, what is HTML special chars function, which is right here at the front? Well, the HTML special chars function converts special characters to HTML entities. This means that it will replace HTML characters like and with @lt and gt. This prevents attackers from exploiting the code by injecting HTML or JavaScript code cross-site scripting attacks in the form. Now, a big note on the PHP form security, the server PHP self variables can be used by hackers, this whole thing here. The reason for it is because if PHP self is used by a page, then the user can enter a slash and then come cross-site scripting XSS command to execute. Now, cross-site scripting XSS is a type of computer security vulnerable typically found in web applications. Now, XSS enables attackers to inject client-side scripting into the web pages viewed by other users. Now, assume we have the following form in the page named text underscore form.php. Then basically form method post action and then self. Now, if the user enters a normal URL in the address, the above code will be translated to the specific form. So basically, so far so good. However, consider user enters the following in the address bar. Then you're going to be screwed. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say assume that the following of the page are named test.form PHP, and then the form method is as we just said ours. Now, if the user in the URL address enters this following, the above, the code will be translated, of course, right? So far, so good. However, consider the user enters the following code in the URL bar. So let's say they enter this whole code over here. Now, in this case above, it will be translated to what? It will be translated to alert hacked script. Okay. Okay. So that's just basic ideas, how to wrap your head around, also always making sure that your code is validated and always making sure that it is secured.